Is the FiTech really worth it? Ugh, I'll answer it coming up. Welcome back to the garage, the place where we are making your Bronco your dream Bronco. If this is your first time here, I would love to have you subscribe. I'm always putting out how-to videos for the weekend mechanic and then talking the FiTech information. Whether you have a FiTech or you're wanting to buy one, this is the place where you're gonna find the best information on the FiTech. So what are we talking about today? Is the FiTech even worth it? Let's get started. So first, the price. Is the FiTech worth the money? And I think absolutely. For about $995, you can get the Go EFI 4 600 horsepower FiTech, and that's the one that I got. And I got it from Tom's Bronco Parts. I'll put a link in the description below to everything that I got. But so for basically about $1,000, you can have EFI in replace of your carburetor. But there are a couple additional expenses that you may have to get in order to get the FiTech to work. So first is the intake manifold. FiTech recommends a 4-barrel intake manifold. I just had a single plane intake manifold, so I obviously had to upgrade. Now you can also do the dual plane, and that's what I got. I got the Performer 289, and it was about another $200. So not too expensive, but things begin to add up. And another thing you need is a 2-wire distributor. Now I got the MSD Pro Billet distributor because my original Ford Bronco had the DuraSpark 2 ignition system. Now, where it's awesome is that when you're getting an MSD Pro Billet distributor, usually you have to get a CDI box, the electronic control box. With the FiTech, you don't need to do that. So the FiTech actually controls the timing. So there you can save about $600, but if you had already planned on getting a distributor. So intake manifold, $200, distributor, $350. And then if your vehicle's older like mine, I have a 1975 Ford Bronco, I had to convert my manual fuel pump to an electric fuel pump. And I did the inline fuel pump from Tom's Bronco Parts, and I did a video on that as well. But that's an additional $300. So all in all, you're looking at about $1,795 if you're doing everything like I did it. So that's almost $2,000, because you know you're gonna break something along the way. That's about $2,000 that you're putting into this thing. So $1,000 for the unit isn't bad at all. $2,000, you start getting up there. Now, that's not saying that the Holley Sniper or these other EFIs aren't gonna have the same issues. So it's not just unique with the FiTech that you're gonna have to spend another $1,000. It's unique to upgrading to EFI that you're gonna have to spend that money. Number 2, is it worth the time to do the install? Absolutely. This thing is so easy to put in. I put a video together, so check that out. See how easy it is. Basically, you pull your old carburetor out, put this throttle body on in place, hook up a couple wires, and you're good to go. So really, it's such an easy install, and it's totally worth it for the ease of installation to get EFI. It's not like the Explorer swap or Explorer EFIs that are pretty complex to put together. The third thing to consider with the FiTech is the setup, and the setup is super easy. You go to Go EFI initial setup, and then you have a couple options: your engine setup, your cam, your rev limit, idle speed, and then if you have the fuel control center, and then if you have your distributor locked out and the 2-wire distributor, whether or not you want FiTech to control your timing. And then your ignition setup, where you set your base timing, your VR advance, and then again, this is the same option as on the first page with timing. Then you have your fan, and then this is reset, and then your sensitivity when trying to start it. And then that's it. You can basically start your engine after that, and FiTech is ready to run. So setup is a thumbs up. But the fourth thing is the fine tuning. And this is the Achilles heel of the whole system. Like I said, the setup is easy, but when you get into the fine tuning, it's super complicated. And when you get into all these menus, this handheld controller is not user friendly. I made a video just about some of the things that I've learned along the way, but really this handheld controller is not super user friendly. And the way that they define everything inside of here isn't the easiest to understand and to figure out what is actually going on. So I've heard that the Holley Sniper is a little bit easier to set up. I don't have any experience with that, but I would say a thumbs down for the FiTech fine tuning. It's just not there yet. The fifth thing is the self-learning on the FiTech. And is it worth it? Is the self-learning really worth it? Yes. It is awesome. The FiTech really does learn as you drive it. But there are two things that you have to keep in mind. You gotta drive it. This thing's not gonna learn your engine just sitting in the driveway. Like, you actually have to go out and drive it. I put about 200 miles on my FiTech, and at that point it really got dialed in, and now it's great. But the second thing that you gotta remember is you have to get it up to operating temperature. It's, you know, around the 170, 180 degree range before the FiTech actually does the self-learning. So again, you can't just sit this thing in your driveway and hope that it's gonna learn. You actually have to drive it and get it up to temperature. One of the things that I did when I first got it was I would just sit there and hold the handheld unit hoping that it was gonna start learning and moving, and nothing was happening. And that's because I didn't have it up to operating temperature and I wasn't driving it. But once you get that, it is awesome. So thumbs up to self-learning on the FiTech. Now the last thing that I want to talk about is FiTech's customer service. Ugh. It's been about 8 months since I have had to contact them and try to figure things out, but honestly, it was not a great experience. It was a lot of 2-hour phone wait times just to talk to anyone, and then I'd get on the phone with them and it was like, well, you need to check that and then call us back. And I'm like, no, please, like, wait on the phone with me, and they just wouldn't. And honestly, I'm not picking on FiTech. They're a smaller company, and so it's hard to keep up with all the tech support on a new product like this. But their customer service is a thumbs down. But here's the thing, customer support is not a reason not to buy the FiTech. It is something though that you need to consider as you're installing it, and it's a good reason to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you can keep up with all the FiTech videos. So 8 months later, would I do it again? 8 months later, is the FiTech worth it? Absolutely. Man, this thing has been so great. I know there are a ton of horror stories out there, but I feel like those are the exception. Those aren't the majority. The majority have gotten this thing and it has done fantastic. Yes, it takes some time to learn. Yes, the fine tuning on it takes some time to learn how to do it, and you know, the user interface isn't great. But once you got things dialed in like I have them dialed in, it's fantastic. I don't touch the thing. I don't worry about it. I don't ever adjust it. I'm not, when it's freezing cold or when it's super humid in Nashville, I'm not touching it. It just runs great. So I definitely recommend it. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to check those links below, and here are some more FiTech videos. I made a whole playlist about it, so if you haven't gotten the FiTech yet, or if you've already gotten yours, make sure to save that playlist so you can go back and watch some of those videos. Thanks guys, I'll see you next time.